The wild places of this planet have a powerful call. For me, that call often comes from the north. Alaska. It's a land of giants. Giant mountains, giant rivers, and giant challenges. The thought of returning to its vast, untamed wilderness had been building for months. This wasn't just another trip. It was a pilgrimage to the edge of the world, a journey to the Arctic Ocean. The anticipation was electric. You feel it in your gut. It's a mix of excitement and a healthy dose of respect for the power of nature. This is a place that doesn't forgive mistakes. You have to be prepared. You have to be ready for anything. Our mission was simple but ambitious. Drive from the heart of Alaska all the way to the frozen shores of the Arctic. We would travel the legendary Dalton Highway, a ribbon of gravel cutting through some of the most remote landscapes on Earth. The plan was forged. The dates were set for early fall, a time when the land is ablaze with color but the first bite of winter is already in the air. This is a time of transition, a beautiful but unpredictable season. It's when the bears are feeding heavily before hibernation, and the weather can turn on you in an instant. That's what makes it a true adventure. Every expedition starts long before you take the first step. It begins with a dream, a map, and a burning desire to explore. For me, sitting back in Kentucky, the wilds of Alaska felt a world away, yet they were constantly on my mind. I was visualizing the journey, thinking through the gear, and mentally preparing for the isolation. The pull of the unknown is one of the strongest forces I know. It pushes you to leave comfort behind and step into a world where your skills and your spirit are tested. That's where you truly feel alive. The goal was not just to see the landscape, but to immerse ourselves in it. To live by the rhythm of the sun and the weather, to feel the cold on our skin, and to listen to the silence of the tundra. It's about pushing your limits and discovering what you're made of when you're stripped of modern conveniences. The journey would be long, the conditions would be tough, but the rewards would be immense. The raw, unfiltered beauty of Alaska was waiting, and we were ready to answer its call. The adventure was about to begin. The journey started with a long flight. From the rolling green hills of Kentucky to the sprawling city of Anchorage, Alaska, the change is immediate. As the plane descends, you see the mountains. They surround the city like ancient guardians, their jagged peaks clawing at the sky. This is where civilization meets the wilderness head-on. My first task upon landing was to connect with our local guide. Having local knowledge is crucial in a place like this. He knows the land, the weather, and the hidden dangers. He's an invaluable part of the team. We met, shook hands, and got straight to business. Our home and vehicle for this epic journey was a beast of a machine, a custom-built camper truck. This wasn't a luxury RV, it was a tool for survival. A rugged 4x4 truck with a compact camper shell on the back. It had everything we needed, and nothing we didn't. Tough suspension for the rough roads, a small kitchen for cooking, and a warm place to sleep. Our guide walked me through the truck's systems, the heater, the water tanks, the power. Checking every detail is essential. Your life can depend on this gear working when you need it most. With the truck secured, it was time to introduce the rest of the team. My good friend was flying in all the way from the UK. It's a massive journey, crossing an ocean and a continent to join this adventure. That's commitment. Having a solid team is the most important piece of gear you can have. You need people you can trust, people who stay calm under pressure, and people who can have a laugh when things get tough. When he arrived, tired but buzzing with excitement, our core team was finally assembled. We were a small, determined unit, ready for the wild. Our first night in Anchorage was a flurry of activity. We weren't there for the city lights, we were there to prepare. We did a final gear check, laid out our supplies, and made a massive shopping run for food. We needed enough to last us for days in the remote backcountry. High-energy food, simple meals, and of course, a few treats for morale. With the truck loaded and fueled, we shared one last city meal. The feeling was incredible. The planning was over. The real adventure was just hours away. The next morning, we left the city behind. The moment you drive out of Anchorage, the world changes. The buildings fall away, and the wilderness takes over. Our route took us north, following winding roads that hugged the edges of powerful glacier-fed rivers. The water was a milky turquoise, a sign of the rock flour ground up by ancient ice. The scale of everything is hard to comprehend. The rivers are wider, the mountains are taller, and the sky seems bigger than anywhere else on Earth. You quickly feel very small, and that's a good thing. The landscape was a moving painting of autumn. Early fall in Alaska is a spectacle of fire. The aspen and birch trees were a brilliant, shimmering gold. The low-lying shrubs on the tundra had turned a deep, fiery crimson. Against the dark green of the spruce forests and the gray of the mountains, the colors were breathtaking. We were driving deeper and deeper into a world that felt ancient and untouched. Every corner we turned revealed a new vista, another valley, another snow-dusted peak calling to us from the horizon. This part of the journey is a slow immersion. You're not just covering distance, you're shedding the skin of your old life. The phone signal disappears. The radio stations fade to static. It's just you, your team, and the roar of the truck's engine. We took turns driving, our eyes glued to the scenery, constantly scanning for wildlife. Moose, caribou, bears. They are the true inhabitants of this land, and we were merely visitors passing through their home. The road itself was a challenge, a mix of pavement and gravel that demanded our full attention. As the day wore on, the mountains grew larger and more imposing. We were entering the Alaska Range, home to some of the most formidable peaks in North America. The air grew colder, and the sense of remoteness intensified. You could drive for an hour without seeing another vehicle. This is what we came for. The isolation, the raw beauty, the feeling of being on a true expedition into the heart of the wild. The truck hummed along, our trusty steed carrying us further and further away from the world we knew. As dusk began to settle, we started looking for a place to make our first camp. The sky, which had been clear earlier, was now a blanket of heavy gray clouds. Then, the rain started. Not a gentle drizzle, but a cold, persistent Alaskan downpour. In the wild, you don't get to choose the weather chooses you. Your job is to adapt and overcome. Finding a good campsite is key, especially in the rain. You need a flat spot, ideally with some shelter from the wind, and away from any potential hazards like riverbeds that could flood. We found a spot tucked away in a grove of spruce trees, a small clearing that offered a bit of protection. The rain was relentless, turning the ground to mud. This is the first test of morale. It's easy to get miserable and frustrated, but a good team pulls together. We worked quickly and efficiently, a well-oiled machine. While two of us got the camper level and secure, another started prepping for dinner inside the dry, warm shelter of the truck. Teamwork makes the tough stuff manageable. It's all about a positive mental attitude. Inside the camper, the world outside disappeared. The small stove hissed to life, and soon the smell of a hot meal filled the tiny space. We kept it simple. A hearty stew, packed with protein and vegetables. Hot food is more than just fuel. It's a massive morale booster. It warms you from the inside out, and gives you the energy to face the cold. As we ate our dinner, huddled together, listening to the rain drumming on the roof, a sense of deep satisfaction washed over us. We were here. We were doing it. We had all the right gear. Good waterproofs, warm layers, and a dry place to sleep. Preparation is everything. Being prepared doesn't mean the bad weather won't happen. It means you're ready for it when it does. Instead of feeling defeated by the rain, we felt a sense of accomplishment. We had faced our first challenge and met it head on. We were warm, fed, and safe in the middle of the Alaskan wilderness. As we settled into our sleeping bags, the sound of the rain was no longer an annoyance. It was a lullaby. The next day, the rain had cleared, leaving the air crisp and clean. We continued our journey north, and soon, a sense of familiarity washed over me. I recognized the curve of the river, the shape of the mountain in the distance. We were approaching one of my favorite campsites in all of Alaska. It's a place I've been to before, a spot that holds special memories of past adventures. Returning to a place like this feels like coming home. It's a small patch of wilderness that feels like your own. A secret shared between you and the land. This campsite is perfect. It's set in a wide open valley, with a crystal-clear river flowing nearby and a jaw-dropping view of a massive, glacier-carved mountain. We parked the truck and stepped out into the immense silence. The only sound was the gentle murmur of the river and the whisper of the wind through the tundra grasses. This was it. This was the Alaska of my dreams. We set up camp with a renewed sense of purpose and excitement. This spot was not just a place to sleep, it was our base camp for a new challenge. Our plan for the next day was ambitious. We were going to attempt to hike a challenging trail that scrambled up the side of a nearby mountain. It wasn't a technical climb, but it was steep, exposed, and required a lot of grit. From the valley floor, the trail looked like a faint scar winding its way up the scree slopes. It was a proper test of endurance and nerve. Laying out our day packs, we checked our gear, water, food, emergency supplies, and bear spray. You never venture out, even on a day hike, without being prepared for the worst. As the sun began to dip towards the horizon, we finalized our plan for the mountain. We studied the route through binoculars, picking out landmarks and potential trouble spots. We would need an early start to give ourselves the best chance of reaching the ridge before the weather turned. There was a buzz of anticipation in the air. We were a team, united by a common goal. To stand on that ridge and look out over the valley would be an incredible reward. The challenge was set. Now, all we had to do was execute. As evening descended upon the valley, it brought a profound sense of peace. The setting sun painted the sky in shades of orange, pink, and purple, casting a warm alpenglow on the snow-covered peaks across the river. The harshness of the wilderness softened in the fading light. This is the magical hour in Alaska, a time when the land seems to breathe a deep sigh. We gathered outside the camper, mugs of hot tea in our hands, simply watching the spectacle unfold. These are the moments that stay with you forever. The quiet moments of awe. With the main challenge of the day behind us, the long drive and setting up camp, we could finally relax. We prepared a simple dinner together. Sausages sizzled in a pan, the smell mixing with the clean, cold air. Sharing a meal in a place like this is a powerful bonding experience. We talked and laughed, recounting stories from the road and sharing our excitement for the hike ahead. There are no distractions out here. No phones, no internet, no noise. There is only the landscape and the company of your teammates. It forges connections that are real and strong. After dinner, as the last light faded from the sky, the temperature dropped quickly. We retreated to the relative warmth of the truck, but the day wasn't over. We reviewed the maps one last time for the next day's mountain trail. We talked through the plan, ensuring everyone knew their role and was comfortable with the risks. Good communication is the bedrock of any successful expedition. It's about making sure everyone is on the same page, feeling confident and supported. This process builds trust and turns a group of individuals into a cohesive unit. Finally, it was time for rest. The stars began to appear, impossibly bright in the clear, dark sky. The Milky Way stretched from one horizon to the other like a glittering river of diamonds. We faced the next day with a sense of optimism. We didn't know what the weather would bring or how tough the trail would be, but we knew we would face it together. We were prepared, we were a team, and we were in one of the most beautiful places on Earth. Tucked into our sleeping bags, we fell asleep to the sound of the river, dreaming